Hi, my name's Paul Cresswell. Welcome to Paul's Tackle Reviews. The purpose of this channel is to give you some real life reviews of tackle and views on tackle from an unbiased, unsponsored angler, and that's me. As I say with all of my videos, just because something works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you. We all have our own preferences, especially today when I'm talking about poles. But it's like our cars. If you gave 20 people 10 grand and said go buy a car, they'd all come back with something different. We all want something different. So what I'm going to do today is take you through my decision process, because I've just bought a new pole. Now, buying a new pole is a big decision. It's big money. No matter what price bracket you're at, £500 is still a lot of money. And I've been at every price bracket in my life. I bought my first pole in 1991, so I've got 31 years of pole buying and pole using experience, and I'm still learning today. What I'm going to do is take you through my criteria that I've applied to look at what's on the market to decide what to get. And it's important that you do this, and I think you need to look at what's important, but importantly as well, you need to say these particular issues I'm not as bothered about. Otherwise, we're all looking for the holy grail of poles, and it isn't out there. There's always going to be some compromise in what you want and what's out on the market. So I'm sat on the left today because I've got this lovely space to my right here, and I'm going to put some slides up there. This is quite difficult for me to film because of course you're going to see everything there, and I've got to look at my phone, and I've got my script on my iPad there. So let's crack on, and the first thing I'm going to put up is my pole history, and what I've got there is a list of every major pole that I've owned. I haven't put margin poles or backup poles and stuff like this. These have been my major poles. As I said, 1991 Shakespeare Equalizer, 120 quid, felt like a mammoth amount to spend at the time. Came with no spare top kits, 9.7 meters, like a banana. I even bought an 11 meter extension, and it was almost unfishable. It was strike and wait for it to work its way through. That's where I started. All of these poles, they're not all brand new. I've bought some second hand from people I know. I bought some new on eBay, and the most I've ever spent on all of these poles is £1,700. So I haven't taken the leap any further than that. I'm now in a position where I'm old officially. I've just turned 55, and thanks to George Osborne, the only thing I think I can say thanks to is he passed legislation that when you got to 55, if you had a pension pot, you can take it all in cash. I started one 30 years ago, put a bit of money in it, left it all this time, and it's just paid out. So I'm now in the very fortunate position. I'm going out and I'm looking for a new pole up to £3,000. So it's a big step up from what I've spent in the past. I've had some near flagship poles on that list there, and as you can see, there's different brands on there. I do like a Shimano. I think they had the best finish. I don't think they were the stiffest poles. I've had a couple of Mavers. I've got a real soft spot for TriCast, but I've tried other things, and I've tried Garbolino as well. When you're looking for a new pole, everybody's got brands they like and brands they don't like, and sometimes people don't like a brand for a silly reason, and they've never actually looked at the brand or even had a waggle. They just don't like the image. That's fine. We're all different, and people like different things in a pole. But when you're buying a pole, if you've already got one, what you've already got makes a big difference to your decision, because you've already got a number of top kits, and whilst you can change brands and use different top kits on different brands, so I use the Map Shala kits on my signature pole at the minute, and they're fantastic. Sometimes if you change pole, if I went from my pole to say a Daiwa or a Preston, the top kits will not interchange, so you've got to start from scratch. And undoubtedly, if you've got a pole you like, it's going to influence your decision going forward. That's why there's so many Daiwa fans. Daiwa were top of the tree 15-20 years ago. Everybody got into them. They've kept the same mandrels, they've kept the same top kits, and now you've got a lot of anglers who've maybe got 30-40 top kits who just can't change brand, because the cost of getting to the same level of spares that they've currently got makes it a difficult decision. So they keep buying Daiwa, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I wanted to look round the market before I just said, right, I'm going to have another Maver. So let's move on to my second slide, and this is what I want from a pole. So I want it to be around 16 meters. This isn't scientific, but I don't want it to be over. And there's a story about a guy getting disqualified at Whiteacres because it was 7 centimeters over, and some places have pole limits. My current pole is around 15.9 meters. That's fine. I want it to be around 16 meters, but not over. I want 12 two-piece kits, and I want a few match and a few power, not many match kits. I have a number of elastics set up. I'm not an open top level match angler, but I do fish matches, and I want a number of elastics. I don't want to be changing elastics between visits, and that I want to leave those in my kit. I will do a follow-up video on how I've elasticated the new pole. I do want 4 F1 Shala kits. Everybody makes these, they're straightforward to get hold of, but I think 4 gives me some flexibility when I'm fishing. Cupping kit and cups. Interestingly, when I bought my Browning, it came with a cupping kit and no cups. Why would you? I do want a couple of spare, and I'm going to call them number 4s because that's what my current pole is. Some people call them number 3, the section after the top kit. I do fish on the canal a little bit, and I do fish deeper venues, and I think a couple of spares means I can set up 3, maybe 2 rigs and a cupping kit, and I'm set to go. I do like a short number 4 occasionally. I think it helps if you're fishing to islands. It can help maybe if the weather's difficult, or if you're going for big fish. I just sometimes use the short 4, sometimes use the long. Just depends how I feel, but I do want one. I also want some dolly butts as well, so I can protect the pole while I'm using it. And I've put there margin pole and 3 kits. I want to have a margin pole that will take the kits from my main pole. It doesn't have to be compatible. I don't want one of those interchangeable ones that people do. I've currently got a Browning Zyton pole, and I use my Maver kits on there perfectly well. I use the Map Shala kits. I've got some Browning kits. I only want 3 kits dedicated to my margin pole as a minimum, but I do want it to be able to take the other kits, because sometimes I just travel light, or it's summer, you're fishing short. I'll just take the Browning, and I want to take a variety of kits. So, what are the key issues for me? And there's 3 key issues, and I'm going to do a slide on each one. It's spares availability, it's top kits and how they're set up, and it's stiffness and balance. They're the 3 things that are top of my list when I'm looking at a new pole. The things that don't matter as much to me, I don't care what it looks like, I don't care what colour it is. Performance is key. Some people like things to match. That's fine. It's not me. I'm looking for the best performing pole, whatever graphics or colour it is. I'm not too bothered about the brand image. I'm going to go for the best pole that's out there. Its weight isn't that important. I've said one of my key ones is stiffness and balance, and I've handled really light poles that feel quite heavy at length because all the weight's at the front, and likewise I've had poles that on the scales that are quite heavy, but when you hold them you just think, yeah, this is really well balanced. I'm not really struggling to hold it because they've got more of the weight towards the butt of the pole. So how that's set up is really important. I'm going to say strength isn't a massive issue. I'm just going to qualify that by saying all poles over £2,000, all match poles, will be capable of doing 15 hybrid or a black hydro. And that's really as far as I go with my match pole. I do go up further occasionally, but they're all built to do that. Even the lightest ones that are in that price range will still be well capable of doing that. I've never had a problem. One of my old poles was a Maver 401, and this was in the years when Maver got a bit of a bad rap because they launched a very light range of poles that had quite thin walls on them, and a lot of people are quite heavy-handed, and I've seen the way people treat them and I just think I would never do that. And they had a lot of breakages. Now, I had the 401. I never broke a section on that, and I caught some absolute lumps and I had some real bagging sessions. So even a lightweight pole like that was still strong enough for what I want, and to be honest, everything now in the market will be stronger than that pole. The last thing I'm not too bothered about is how slim it is. I've had thicker poles, I've had slimmer poles. It doesn't really matter. I find them all fairly comfortable, so that's not an issue. So I'm down to 3 key questions to look at. And the first one I'm going to put up is spares availability. And what do I expect here? I expect top kits to be readily available. So I can go on eBay and I can find top kits. I can put a search in the internet. I can get top kits in a couple of days. And you think that was straightforward, but some manufacturers are not there, and it isn't. You're not able to do that. I would be looking for the main sections to be available within a couple of weeks at an absolute maximum. Now, I haven't broken a section for ages, but more likely for me, the way I am, is one will fall in and I need a big section, and I want that to be available. I go fishing 1 full day a week and half a day a week almost every week, and I don't want to be without my main pole. And the final one is a reasonable price for spares, and different manufacturers are good and some aren't so good on this. So somebody like Browning does have expensive spares. I used to have a Shimano. They were ridiculous spares prices. I once bought I think it was a number 5 for my Aspire, and it was nearly 400 quid, which is ridiculous. So what I've done on the slide, you'll see, is I've put the people who I think are good at this, and I think Preston, Maver and Daiwa are the best for spares. Now, there'll be people maybe want to post and say, oh, I've had a bad experience with Maver, I've had a bad experience with Preston or Daiwa or whatever. Yeah, there's always going to be a few cases, but if you look at the forums of the last couple of years and what people have said, I know we've had COVID times, but some people have been left high and dry for months without a pole. I think MAP somebody said that after sales is poor, getting sections is poor. Browning are okay. TriCast, I mean, TriCast used to be, oh, the British made, you can get hold of one really quickly. Some guy just said, posted on a forum, he's waited 5 weeks for top kits. for top kits, I mean, what does that say about the main sections? Garbolino, I didn't enjoy when I had my Garbolino. I waited a hell of a long time. I don't know if they've improved, but if you look at somebody like MIDI, and I think they make good poles, but the prices of the spares are phenomenal. Let's go on to top kits now. And what do I want from a top kit? 2.4 to 2.5 meters. My current ones are 2.5. I've had 2.6 with the Browning. They're just starting to get a bit long. I think Map and Preston do 2.4. That's kind of region I want. I want it to be pre-pushed at the end. I do want roller side pullers, and I thought roller side pullers were a total waste of time. But then I bought one for my Maver and I swapped it over, and all of a sudden I get it. They are fantastic. They do make a big difference. You're not pulling against the roller, you're just pulling the elastic when you get down to the puller. And I want a mixture of match power and F1, and everybody does that. So again, I think Matrix, Preston and Maver have got really good kits because they've got the roller pullers, and I put needs work for the others because yeah, you can fit your own roller pullers. Not something I personally want to be doing, but you can do that with some of the others. But if you take something like Colmake, and I just saw a review of their new pole, their top kits are 2.8 meters. That's far too long for me. I don't want to buy a brand new pole and lop 30 centimeters off the length of it and then have to fit a bush myself. I bet there aren't many open, serious level match anglers using kits much over 2.5 meters. Same with Drennan. I think Drennan products are great, but their top kits just are too long and would need some cutting back. And then we're on to performance, which is obviously a key issue. Now, I rarely fish at 16 meters. In the last couple of years, couple of hours, if that. So I'm looking for absolute top-notch performance at 14.5, and I want something that's really good at 16 if I need to do that. And I want it balanced, and I talked about where the weight was and how it feels in your hand. And I think there's an awful lot of good poles out there. There are so few dud poles now, especially when you're spending a lot of money. It comes down to preference, what you're looking for. I think personally speaking, from speaking and handling Daiwa poles, I don't think they are the stiffest and most responsive, and I don't want a Daiwa for that reason. I think all the rest are up there and can deliver what I want. So where did I end up? And if you go through that criteria, I ended up with Preston or Maver. I don't think people like Map and Matrix are giving me enough confidence to buy one of theirs in terms of their spares availability. So I'm looking at the Maver 821 or the 921. I think they're both excellent poles, get great reviews, and the Preston Superium X70. Now, if I bought the X70, I've got to buy extra kits. I've got to buy extra number 4s, the short 4, the dolly butts. I would have to buy a new margin pole, and all of a sudden you're looking at 2,900. Although I appreciate I could sell my old margin pole as well, but those are the only 3 that I really thought, yeah, that's possible. So having looked at all of that, and I've watched the reviews of the Superiums. I thought there was a good one on Angling for You last week, and I don't think the Superium will be better than either of the Mavers in performance terms. Given I've got a Maver and I've got the kits I've got, I've not kind of met the threshold to change brand. I just don't think there's anything out there. So I've gone for the Maver 921, which is an amazing package. So you get a Powerlight kit in the pole, 4 Powerlite kits, 5 commercial power kits, 2 short kits, 2 long number 4, 2 short number 4, 2 dolly butts, 3 pole end protectors which are about that long, and they go in the butt of the 11.5 to the 16, so if you're using those sections, just a bit of added security, cupping kit and cups, and a hold all and tubes. I've had this pole, I've been setting it up, I've been out once with it. It is an amazing piece of kit. I absolutely love it. Now, there'll be people out there say, I wouldn't touch Maver with a barge pole, and that's everybody's opinion. A lot of people say Maver poles are crap, they've never held one. You're going to get that wherever you go. I think Maver as a brand, I don't think their boxes are up to much. The rods are good, the reels, they're not Preston in terms of the range that they've got and the price points that they hit, but their poles I think are absolutely spot on. The strength of the new pole, I was amazed by. It's stronger than my 800. It's on a different mandrel, but the top 5 still fit, so I've got lots of kits. Don't know what I'm doing with my old pole yet, but I've been setting up top kits. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a kind of what you get in the package kind of video of the 921. I'm then going to also do a video showing the perfect top kit setup. Now, I'm not showing you how to thread elastic. I'm going to take you through the Dacron, the polar liner I'm using, the bead at the bottom, the elastics, the markings on the pole, how I've got it absolutely perfect for what I want to do. And I'm going to do that video as well. And I've also just fitted this morning the club cones from Protector Pole. They're absolutely fantastic, love those things, and I've got my pole ready now. But like I say, I've been out once, going out again, and I'm really happy with what I've got. Just over 2.5 grand, ridiculous amount of money. You tell that to a non-angler, they wouldn't believe you. But I guess if my hobby was motorcycling, I might have a 5 grand motorbike. You know, this is what we do, this is the level that the technology's at, and I'm in a fortunate position to really push the boat out here, and this is something that will last an awful long time. I'm done for today. I'm not saying follow me. I want to give you some ideas to think about when you're thinking about, I need a new pole, or I want my first pole. What are the things that really matter to you? There are lots of great poles at all prices, and there's hardly any dud poles now out there. So we've never been better catered for. Loads of top kits. Like I say, my first pole didn't come with a spare. I think until I got to 2001, I only had 2 spare top kits to go with my pole. All of a sudden, the Maver Medusa came along, 16 meters, lots of top kits, and things really changed. It's never been better, the pole market. Thanks for watching today. If you want to give me a thumbs up, that's great. If you want to subscribe, people will have views, and that's fine. If you want to put your views or comments or any questions below, I will always try and get back to people. If you want to subscribe, you'll get automatic notifications of future videos. Thanks very much for watching. Tight lines.